10 easy exercises that help you live longer and healthier. Hi, my name is Doug. I've been a physical therapist for 30 years, and I specialize in helping people with balance problems learn to walk again. In this video, I'm going to show you 10 exercises that take 20 minutes a day to do that can help you live longer and healthier. Many studies have shown that these exercises not only improve your balance, but reduce your chance of falling, can get you stronger, and can improve the quality of your life. Okay, so now we're going to do tandem standing or heel to toe standing. What you're going to do is put one foot in front of the other and then simply let go of the chair. Now, for a lot of people, this is difficult. In fact, you might be losing your balance right now. Grab onto the chair. The goal for any of us is to be able to do this for 20 seconds with each leg forward, with 20 seconds with the left leg forward, 20 seconds with the right leg forward. It's not as easy as it looks. And if you're really struggling, there's a number of things you can do to make this easier. And you want to make it easy enough that you can actually do the exercise. You don't want to make this impossible. If you have to grab the whole time, I suggest you spread your feet apart just a little bit. Having a couple inches between your feet really makes it easier. So if doing that, you're still wiggling around, but you're able to do it, then do it this way. But if you're not struggling, definitely go heel to toe, and then just try to go for time, for 20 seconds. I know I'm not doing it for 20 seconds right now, but you at home, you can use the clock that you're seeing on the screen, and then try to do this for 20 seconds on each leg. That's your goal. But I don't expect most people to be able to do that right off the bat. This is one of the best lower level balance challenge activities. I usually say standing on one leg is the best exercise, but for a lot of people that are struggling, this is the best exercise. Now, if you're really having a problem right now, you can spread your feet apart. You can also put one finger on here just to give you a little confidence. You can also put two fingers or your whole hand, but I want you to try to let go more and more. Even if you just do this, that's fine. That's an improvement. The longer you do that, the better you're going to be. The longer you can let go and not hold on, the better. The closer your feet are, the better. Okay, and keep shifting back and forth. I think we're all done with this exercise and we're ready to move on to the next exercise. So now we're going to do an exercise called marching. You want to grab the chair in front of you and you're just going to raise your legs up as high as they'll go. Now you notice I'm bringing my legs up pretty high. My knees are almost coming up to the back of the chair. You don't have to do them that high. If you're struggling with this, just getting your feet off the ground is good. This is both a balance exercise and a strength exercise. This works a muscle called the iliopsoas, which is the main muscle that lifts my legs up when I'm walking. It's a really important muscle, but it also works my balance. Because if you notice when I'm doing this, I'm basically shifting my weight and standing on one leg. So if you're doing this at home and you're kind of standing real still and doing this, try to grab the chair in front of you and really shift your weight while you're doing this exercise. You want to put all your weight on one leg and all your weight on the other leg and try to lift your foot off the ground as high as you can. I'm trying to get a little bit of clearance on here, but even if you're just shifting your weight, unweighting your leg, that's still a pretty good way to start this exercise. Now, if your balance is really good and you're feeling confident, you could also let go as you're doing this exercise. And of course, another way to make it harder is to lift your legs up a little bit higher when you're doing it. At any point during this 2 minutes, if you feel tired, feel free to sit down. You have the chair behind you. You can take a rest at any point. You can rest as often as you want. The idea is that every time you do these exercises, you're doing them a little bit more and resting a little bit less as you progress. For some people, the first time they do it, they may have to have one finger on that chair. Other people, death grip. But that's okay. Whatever level you're at, just recognize that you're starting at that level and you can get better. Over time, you can improve this. Okay. Pillow squats. So you're going to have something in the chair behind you. I have one cushion, but it's okay if you want to use 2 cushions. The more cushions you use, the easier it is. And you're just going to sit down, cross your arms across your chest, and then lean forward and stand up all the way, and then sit back down again. Now, there's a lot of ways to do this. It just depends on your strength level. You can put your hands here and help yourself push up. You can put your hands on your knees, which a lot of people like to do when they do this. Or you can grab the chair in front of you. Any of those are acceptable. You're gonna work your leg muscles no matter what you do. When you're doing this, you're working your leg muscles the most. Now, there's a couple things about standing up and sitting down that are important. You always wanna bring your head over your knees when you go to stand up. Trying to stand up by lifting your body straight up like this, it's kind of impossible to do, but people do try that. And a lot of times they say, I can't stand up on my own, and they try to do it that way. It's because they're afraid of leaning forward. They're afraid they're gonna fall forward. Now you have this chair in front of you to kind of help you, but most people's fear of falling forward when they're standing up is sort of unfounded. Usually you can't really fall forward that way, but it feels like it if your balance is off. But you wanna practice standing up with your head far enough forward that you can see your toes before you stand up. So like right now, I can see my toes and then I start to stand up. Your body makes it a lot easier to stand up when you bring your torso forward that much. Now, if you're tired at all, you can stop and take a break. You don't have to follow me all the way through this. 2 minutes of these is quite a bit. And we're almost done, just a couple more here. Okay. So our next exercise is heel to toe walking. So you're going to grab your chair and you're going to put one foot in front of the other, kind of like you're walking a tightrope, 2 steps, then turn around towards the chair and then walk back 2 more steps. If you can get 3, that's great. I'm getting about 2.5 here and I'm kind of running out of chair. You want to put your hand here for balance the first couple times you do it. If you're feeling confident, if you feel like your balance is good, by all means let go. And you've got that chair, you got 2 chairs next to you to kind of have safety. But if you want to hold on, that's fine. You can even just put 1 finger there just to be safe. I'm sorry, I've got to hold my wire up because it's getting in my way. But you notice I'm lifting my feet off the ground. My knees are slightly bent. You never want to be stiff-kneed when you do this. So as a reminder, always have a little bend in your knee. And I'm moving forward. And what I'm doing, the reason this helps you is because it's a narrow base of support. Normally when you walk, your feet are a little bit wider apart. You know, you're not touching 1 foot to the other. By doing that, I'm narrowing my base of support, which makes me feel more unsteady. So practicing this improves my balance because it's challenging my balance. But there's another thing this does. It's also helping my proprioception. Proprioception is the awareness of where your feet are in space. By forcing myself to put my foot right in front of the other foot, it kind of reminds me where my feet are in space. And there's been a lot of studies that have shown that you can improve your proprioception of your feet by doing this very exercise. And again, if you're feeling strong, you can let go and do it. If you're not, you can also take a break at any point. It's always good on these exercises to stop and take a rest every so often. But I'm trying to demonstrate the exercise the whole time. So if I'm going and you're resting, that's fine. Take a break. Okay, our next exercise is sidestepping. You're going to grab the chair in front of you, and all you're going to do is take 1 big step to the side, bring your other leg over, and then step back the other direction. A lot of people, when they're having trouble with their walking, and I test them in the office, and I say, hey, let's see how you do sidestepping, they lose their balance when they step to the side. And when I ask them why, they go, you know, I never step sideways. But a lot of people that are afraid of falling, they try not to sidestep. They actually avoid it. And sometimes they'll even turn and face in the direction so they don't have to take a sidestep because they know that they feel unsteady when they do that. When you sidestep, you're bringing one leg out, which is kind of throws you off balance, and then you're shifting all your weight from one leg all the way onto the other leg so that you can lift the following leg up and bring it over. It is hard to do. And that's why you want to practice. That's why I practice it with people in my office. I have them grab onto something just like this and lift their foot up, step over. It's almost like you're stepping over something, so that each foot lifts up as you do it, and repeatedly doing it. And then as they get better, I'll say, okay, now just put one finger on there, or put two fingers on there. And then as they get better, I might even say, let go. So if you're at home and this is easy, you can let go. But if you're struggling with it, putting some fingers there is fine. Now, even though I'm doing it for the full 2 minutes, at any point, take a break. At any point, just stop and sit down or stand and take a rest. On all of these exercises, I keep saying this, it's fine to take a break. The reason I gave 2 minutes was on purpose so that most people could take a 30 or 40-second rest while they're doing the exercise. I don't expect most people that are watching this to do this for the full 2 minutes. At any point, they should just be stopping and catching their breath. If you're feeling your muscles are getting tired, stop. But just doing it, 5 or 10 times is really going to benefit you. Okay, we're going to do it 1 or 2 more times, and then we're going to move on to our next exercise. And okay, I think we're ready for the next exercise. Okay, our next exercise is backward stepping. To do backward stepping, we're just going to turn and then just take a couple of steps backwards. The whole time my hand is on the chair. I'm not letting go of the chair. And I am lifting my feet off the ground. If you're not lifting your feet off the ground, if you're just shuffling, that's fine if you want to do it that way. But you'll get more benefit if you lift your feet off the ground. So you might have to grab the chair more. But some people that might be too hard, and that's fine. If it's too difficult, just do it the way you can do it, because I'm sure it's going to benefit you just to practice going backwards. Why does backwards walking help us? There's a lot of studies that have shown this is one of the best exercises to improve your balance. But why? Well, one of the things is when you practice going backwards, you're actually improving your forward motion. Anything that you practice in reverse uses more regions of your brain, and it actually makes that skill better. It makes the programming better. It makes you learn more how to do it because it forces you to really think about doing it in reverse. But the other thing is it helps us because when you're walking forward, you actually do need to walk backwards, even if you think you don't. When you look at someone going through their day, they're in their kitchen, their bathroom, their bedroom, they're definitely taking a step backwards every so often. And some people, I think they really avoid that. They really purposely only walk forward because they're so afraid of walking backward. But if they do walk backward, it actually makes them more stable. But the other thing is when you're walking forward, if you encounter something like somebody bumping into you or something in your way, being able to take a step backward actually improves your balance and makes it less likely that you'll fall. So if you're doing good, you can let go, but if not, hold on. I think we're ready for our next exercise. Okay, our next exercise is single leg stand. So you're going to grab the chair, shift all your weight to one leg, lift the other leg up, and then try to let go. This is a hard exercise. The goal is to try to stand for 20 seconds on each leg. And when I'm standing on this leg, my knee is slightly bent. You don't want to do it with your knee too extended. Now, honestly, this is one of the hardest exercises in my program. This is the one that I think benefits people the most, and I think this is the one that all seniors, people who've had strokes and Parkinson's, they should practice this as much as they can, because you want to maintain this ability to stand on one leg. The reason is because when you're walking, when you're going about your day, if you can't stand on one leg and something challenges your balance, it's very likely that you'll fall. Because there are times when one leg is off the ground that we encounter soft ground substance or something in our way or something bumps into us, and that's when we lose our balance. When we're standing on one leg, but we don't really have good balance. The reason that people shuffle is because they can't do this. They can't safely and confidently stand on one leg. So you want to practice it with this chair in front of you, because it makes it safer and allows you to regain that ability. Now, the most important thing when you're standing on one leg is the weight shift. And so what you should be practicing is using the chair to shift your hips over the foot that you're standing on. If you're struggling right now, when you lift the other leg up, you're right away falling back, it's because you're not shifting your weight enough. Watch how much I'm shifting watch my shoulders and my hips as I go my other leg. There's quite a distance that I travel to shift my weight over and balance. We just have a couple more of these to do. And I think we're ready for our next exercise. Okay, now we're gonna practice stepping over something. So we're gonna put this in front of us, put this down on the ground, and I'm just gonna practice lifting one foot up and stepping over my towel. Now, if I want to, I can hold on the first couple times I do it. Whoops, I just made it harder. Actually, I'm gonna keep it small just so the camera can see it all. All right, so I'm just stepping over it, and then I'm turning around, and then I'm stepping back the other way. I'm being conscious when I step to keep my knee slightly bent. I'm never fully straightening my knees. And if I'm feeling good, if I feel like my balance is better, I can let go and do this. And the chair is right there in case I lose my balance. So if you're feeling more confident now that you've been doing these exercises for a while, you can completely let go and just try to take a step. So many people are afraid of stepping over something because they know that their balance isn't good enough, or they might have had a fall, or they might even have some pain when they do it. I highly encourage you to practice this exercise. This is one of the best balance exercises, and it's really good for your confidence. So I'm taking a little step and bringing the other leg across. Now, if you're feeling tired, this is a great time to take a rest. You can rest whenever you want with these exercises, as often as you want. And if you're really struggling with this, just try to do it. Just try to take a step without the towel. Just try to take a step on level ground. You don't have to have a target or anything in front of you, or an obstacle. And again, you could put one finger on this chair. You could put no fingers on the chair and just practice stepping forward. And I do think you should switch it up. Sometimes the right leg, sometimes the left leg. And we're on to the next exercise. Okay, so now we're going to do something called turn training. And this is actually practicing making turns. So what you want to do is face in this direction. You can have one hand on this. And if we're going to turn to the right, we're going to bring our right leg this way and then turn completely that way. Now, I just did a 180-degree turn. Let me show you again, like that. Now, a lot of people, they say they can't do that. So it's okay if you want to do a quarter turn. Do 2 quarter turns, and then the same way back, quarter turn, quarter turn. Now, I want to explain to you why we're doing this and why it's very important to practice this. A lot of people who fall, when they've looked at videos of them falling, they find that they cross their legs. So crossing their legs is actually about 80% of the time that seniors fall. That's why they fall. So practicing it correctly will help integrate into your mind the right way to turn. And the right way to turn, if I'm turning to the left, I want to move my left leg first and make a complete turn. Or my right leg first and make a quarter turn, and my right leg again and make a quarter turn. Both of those are correct. What's not correct is this. I'll show you the wrong way. Moving this leg first and crossing over. You never want to cross over. You want to train yourself and think in your mind, never cross over. Mainly because that's what causes most falls in seniors. They're walking along, they have to make a sudden turn, and they just cross one leg over the other. I see it all the time in my clinic, and it's something that I find that if you practice it the right way, it doesn't keep happening. So I'm turning and then turning. Now, as the difference between the quarter turn and the half turn is just range of motion of my hips. Okay, I think that's enough of that. Let's move on to our next exercise. So now we're going to do backward stepping over an object. I'm going to use this towel. I'm going to put this down on the ground.
facing this direction, and I'm just stepping backwards over that towel, turning around, and then doing the same thing the other way. Now, there's a lot of things about this I want to point out. One is when I'm stepping backward, my knee is bent when my foot hits the ground, and I'm keeping it bent as I bring my other leg over. You want to keep your knees bent as much as you can while you're doing these exercises and when you're walking. There should always be a 5 to 15 degree bend in your knees. The other thing is I am holding on, but the goal of this is to do this without holding on. I would always turn towards the chair too, just for safety. So whichever way you go, don't turn to face the other chair. Turn and face this chair each time. Just because that way, the tall chair that's next to you is just a lot easier to grab onto. And just keep turning around. If you're tired, you can stop at any point and just take a little rest. But you want to just keep stepping over this object for the full 2 minutes if you can. And you can always grab on with a finger or your whole hand. And you want to pace yourself too. I might be going a little bit fast for some of you. You don't have to go as fast as I'm going. Just try to do it for the full 2 minutes, even with your rests. Just try to keep going. If you have to rest, stand up after a bit and start again. If this is the first time you're running through this, though, sometimes it can be kind of fatiguing. So feel free to take a break at any point. And we're almost done here. Just a couple more. And I think we're just about done.
I hope you found this video helpful. Click the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. If you would like more help with your balance, look in the description for a link to a course I created that can help anyone improve their balance at home.